Broadcasting live from WOYK's downtown studios at Santander Stadium. Talking York's home teams. Welcome to York College Spartans Sports Weekly on SportsRadio 1350 WOYK. Now, here are your hosts of Spartan Sports Weekly, Daryl Henry and Scott Geis.
Well, new computer and all, welcome to our lovely studio here along 5 Brooks Robinson Way. Welcome to York College Spartans Sports Weekly. Good day, Scott.
Good day, Daryl. How are you?
I'm great. You've been here for about an hour since your arrival before we started this show. Has it been a productive hour for you?
Well, thank goodness for computers and being able to work remotely. Yes, it has been productive, so trying to keep on going.
Huge thanks to Mike and our crew for getting us, Mike is our crew, for getting us back up and running after
the crew of one.
After Friday's instance. We'll leave it at that. On Rev's Hot Stove Weekly, we had a computer crash during the show, but ready to go here today. And Scott, where is Derek? Usually we leave him out of the intro. Today it's appropriate because he's not here. Where is he?
He is working our doubleheader against Southern Virginia. That's right, we're playing baseball. Only like 2 weeks later than we were supposed to, but playing Southern Virginia in a conference doubleheader today really kicks off a pretty busy week coming up. The weather seems to finally be cooperating, and I don't know how much truth there is to this, we might actually touch 60 sometime this week. So, of course, it's supposed to rain the day that it hits 60, but, beggars can't be choosers. So, the hope is that the weather continues on the uptick, that we have no more snow, and then we actually get to play some games.
Well, you've certainly put yourself out there with that weather report. People know where to find you.
Well, yes. Many times I put myself out there. I do it every week with you on this radio show.
I know you do, and we appreciate that. I know you're a little torn today. I'm honored that you're here with me. It is the home opener for baseball.
It is the home opener for baseball.
And you're not there.
I was there for a little bit. I'll get to go when we're done. I'll go back and catch the end of game 2. So I will be there. I am there in spirit, so it is okay. I'm also, pulling back the curtain and say the game is on the computer right in front of me, so it's not like I don't know completely what's going on, but it's okay. So,
well, we're almost live here on Spartan Sports Weekly, so we won't pass along any outdated scores.
No, we'll just encourage fans to check out ycpspartans.com.
Or swing by Jaquette Field if you're over near Country Club Road.
Bring a parka.
You might
gloves.
Hat.
It's pretty chill. Hey, it looks great outside. It's cold. I was out there early on taking a couple pictures while the game of some guys we needed to get because we have some new guys on the team this year, and it's a little chilly out there. It's going to be a little chilly tomorrow for baseball, softball, and lacrosse.
What kind of streak did you have going of consecutive home openers attended?
Oh, I have no idea. I've been here 19 years.
Thrashed today.
No, you haven't. No, I still get credit for it. I was there for the first pitch, so we'll be good. Well, I've been here 19 years, and pretty much I've been at all of them, so it's all good. It's one of those things where when you have stuff like we get this wonderful opportunity to have a radio show each week. There's not a lot of Division III schools in the country that have this opportunity like we do to have a weekly radio show, and certainly we're very fortunate and lucky that you'll have us. I'm not too torn. We have a lot of baseball games at home coming up, so the opportunity to be with you is pretty good too.
Well, we are fortunate to have the commitment from you guys as well, and you specifically, Scott, and obviously a lot of talk about the schedule here this past week, as there has been for many weeks. What is the latest rundown? I mean, at the risk of leaving something out with all of this going on.
I mean, this week is going to be pretty. This week's going to be pretty intense. We have 3 home events tomorrow with women's lacrosse, softball, and baseball. Then we have men's lacrosse at home on Wednesday. Then we have baseball, softball at home on Thursday. Friday, at least at this point in time, we have nothing at home or nothing is playing. And then Saturday, 3 games at home: baseball, softball, and lacrosse, women's lacrosse, and then we'll have a home softball doubleheader on Sunday. So next couple days, pretty busy, a lot of stuff going on. We have Old Man Winter to thank for that because we're really still playing catch-up from really the first couple weeks of March, which were pretty much unplayable for anything other than lacrosse.
kind of like old man radio.
It is kind of like old man radio.
Old guy radio.
Old guy radio is a lot more pleasant for our listeners. I'm really ready to be done with old man winter.
Yes. Well, we keep stringing the listeners along. Probably another week without old guy radio, since there's a lot to get to here on this show. And Scott, we'll start in the deep end. Kyle Waldhall competing at the national championships this past weekend, and we'll get into the specifics here, but I wanted to get your take on what Kyle did, and it was really interesting reading some of your reports and on ycpspartans.com. You know, he had a strong showing, but he's not the type that is ever going to be satisfied, and he used his placement as a motivation for next year is what I took from that, even though he fared pretty well here this season.
He fared great. And, you know, I think it's if you look at the times, and the guy who ended up winning the 100 and 200 breaststroke, he has like the 8th fastest time in the country. D1, D2, he's the 8th fastest American in the 200 breaststroke this year. That's crazy. That also means, why is he swimming in Division III? But, no, Kyle had a great trip to Texas. He was actually second. He finished second in both of the preliminaries, and then finished 4th in the 100 and 8th in the 200. You know, the 200 finish in the 8th I think is a little bit misleading. He still swam a good time, just not as good as he did in the preliminaries. And that's a lot of, you know, it's tough because you're so amped up and you're so ready to go. When you're standing there in the nightcap at the finals race, there's a little bit of jitters going on, and certainly Kyle is used to that. But you know, it's tough to do, and especially when you're racing against a guy who, you know, the kid from Emory is just unbelievable. So Kyle, a great showing. I know he's a little disappointed. I mean, I think, you know, in an honest moment, he's going to tell you, yeah, I felt like I should have done better in the 200. But to be 4th and 8th in the country in swimming in Division III is pretty stinking impressive. And he's just going to keep getting better and better. And you're right. You know, he had a lot of success this year. He will use that to motivate him for next year. So he's going to take a couple weeks off, and then he wants to start training for the Olympic. He wants to get into, by the time his career is over, have a chance to try out for the Olympic team next, I guess that'll be next winter. Or right after the championships are over his senior year, to train for the Rio Games, which is hard to believe. It's, you know, we're a year away, you know, a little over a year and a half away from the Summer Games. But, you know, that's something he really wants to do. And, you know, I will say this about Kyle, when he puts his mind to it, I think he has a great chance to achieve that. So it's pretty impressive to see. And certainly we are so very proud of him. You know, he's worked really, really hard. And I got to tell you, it's got to be really lonely for that 3 weeks between conference championships and the NCAAs to train by yourself. You know, usually you have your teammates there to push you and to be able to do that. But you know, it's been a long 3 weeks for him, and I know he'll be ready to take a little bit of a break. You know, concentrate on some schoolwork, and then, you know, he'll get right back at it and start working. He's a very gifted and hard worker.
Do the coaches make the trip with them for individuals like that?
Coach Kurtz, you're able to go. You're able to take one coach per. You know, there's a breakdown: 1 to 5 student athletes, you get one coach. You know, 6 to 10, you get 2 coaches, and so on and so forth. So, much like wrestling, you'll get that opportunity to. You know, Coach Kurtz got the opportunity to go, and certainly she's no stranger to the national scene as well. So, you know, I think one of the goals for next year is to get more than one guy there, more than one person, the opportunity to compete at nationals. And, you know, I know that we've made great strides in our swimming program, and you know, I wouldn't be surprised to see us have multiple kids that, you know, really the next one you look at is Morgan Schreiber, who had an incredible rookie year and really will put himself in place to have an opportunity to go next year.
It's really interesting. You know, Kyle had the 100-yard breaststroke on Friday, the 200-yard on Saturday, and in the preliminaries, he finished second in both, broke his own school NCAC record in both. The top time in each event set a new record. So, you know, when you look at what he did in the prelims as well as in the championship meets, there were similarities from Friday to Saturday, but really strong performances when you throw in records and how close he was to the very, very best each of those days.
Oh, no question. He was outstanding. And really, you know, having not been a swimmer, yeah, it's hard to tell how to feel because, you know, he swims so good in the prelims, and then just, you know, and his times weren't that off in the nightcap. You get a little bit of jitters, you get a little bit of nervousness going on, especially on Friday when he was in the finals for the first time in his career. So it was good to see him perform well, and his times were very good. It was a very fast pool. A lot of records fell this weekend, and certainly glad to see him perform the way that he's certainly capable of doing.
And Friday, it was the fourth place finish was only half a second out of second. So Shenandoah, Texas, whereabouts is that? Did that put you on the spot?
It's a great question,
isn't it?
I think, and I don't know for sure. I think it's somewhere in the Houston area. Okay. I could be very wrong, and I'm sure if one of our listeners wants to email us and let us know,
they'll let you know.
That'll be fine.
They'll let you know.
So it's down in Texas somewhere. That's what I know. Sorry, I don't have anything more specific.
I'm sorry I asked.
We should probably have Ray Google that right now just to see what it is.
Ray is in here too. Well, congratulations to Kyle, and awesome season from him and his accomplishments. Very proud of what he was able to do for the program. So, it'll probably just a short time off for him, knowing their work ethic, and he'll be back at it getting ready for next year.
Well, and I think also once if you check out the webpage, Derek did a fantastic splash page for Kyle. Derek does a lot of he's very talented at graphic stuff. So those pictures of Kyle and stuff, that's all Derek, and he does a fantastic job. So check out the webpage, even if it's just for the splash page, that's fine. But we'll hope you'll go to Spartans and continue in and read the stories on Kyle. Derek did a great job with those as well.
It's got graphics and stuff.
Did I just say and stuff?
No, you said he's good at graphic stuff, but it reminded me of the Chevy guy.
Yes.
It's got graphics and stuff.
Yeah.
All right. We'll go to a break now.
Probably a good idea.
Here on your College Spartans Sports Weekly. Softball coming up. We'll get into lacrosse as well. In fact, both lacrosse coaches join us here this week, and we'll take a look at the week in review for the baseball team. Of course, they are in action today as we speak. A whole lot more to come. Stay right here on Sports Radio 1350 WOYK.
Turning a double play takes teamwork, and so does preparing for life's challenges. Murray Securus works with you, hand in hand, providing thoughtful solutions to help you plan for the future. Team up with Murray Securus for safer, more secure risk management, personal insurance, health benefits, wealth management, even cutting-edge human resource solutions for individuals and small to large businesses. Living life in a winning way just takes a little teamwork. Call Murray Securus today at 397-9600 or go to murrayins.com.
Blazing fast service for all of your wipeouts. OSS Health Urgent Care will take care of all of your muscular and skeletal sprains, pops, twists, and breaks in minutes, not hours. Open 7 days a week for your urgent orthopedic needs. Now at two convenient locations, 1855 Powder Mill Road in York and 856 Century Drive in Mechanicsburg. Visit us online at osshealth.com. OSS Health Urgent Care. Experience you can trust.
Dad, I'm home. Why am I not surprised to find you laying on the couch?
Oh, hi, son. Is your fall semester over already?
Yep, I love it at York College, and I really like living on campus this year.
Yeah, that reminds me. We need to have a little talk. About the facts of life.
Dad, we had that talk years ago. And anyway, I don't believe you ordered me from Amazon.com.
I mean, your mom and I are helping to pay for your college as much as we can, but now you've got room and board on top of books and tuition, and you haven't asked me once for money.
Dad, I told you last year that York Educational Federal Credit Union took care of all that. That student choice loan we applied for last year was a one-time application. All I have to do this year is tell them how much I need, and they send the money right to the school. The loan is set up similar to my Stafford loan, so I don't have to start making payments until 6 months after I graduate. I told you YEFCU rocks.
College has been good for you, son. You're smarter already.
York Educational Federal Credit Union, 1601 South Queen Street, York. Apply online at yefcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
Believe it or not, spring is coming, and we've got the bases covered like Etch with dirt during a tantrum. Join Darryl Henry and Atlantic League Manager of the Year Mark Mason for Revs Hot Stove Weekly every Friday at 4. Breaking news each week with the latest player signings exclusively here first. Plus fan interaction online, interviews with players, and we'll highlight really good calls from umpires. Maybe we should have stopped with interviews with players. Rev's Hot Stove Weekly, Fridays at 4 on Sports Radio 1350 WOYK. Your home for York's home team. The York College Spartans play here. Sports Radio 1350 WOYK, York.
Spartans Sports Weekly from our fresh WOYK studios.
Oh, smells like a daisy.
It does, yeah. Boy. And Shenandoah, Texas is in Montgomery County, Texas, so there you go.
Which means what?
Well,
it's near what? Houston?
Houston and Sugar Land.
There we go.
Oh, okay.
See? There we go. Ray Jensen on the job right there, ladies and gentlemen.
Houston and Sugar Land. All right.
Daryl's favorite places to travel, isn't it?
Yeah, it's up there. One of them.
Ranks on the list of nine places to go?
That's right.
There you go.
We'll be there twice this year. Well, baseball and softball, this segment, Scott. And first of all, it is quite clear to me that there will still be baseball while this show is airing at 4 o'clock, seeing as about an hour and 15 minutes before that, we're still playing in Game 1 of that doubleheader.
Yes, we are, and it looks like we might have just completed Game 1. So, yes, the Spartans pick up a victory in Game 1, and we'll be playing Game 2 when this airs. So, yes, there will be plenty of baseball left if the fans would like to come out and check it out. While they're listening to the show, they need to keep listening to the show, though. So that is the key for our listeners.
Can we say with certainty that it's a final?
It is a 10-8 final over Southern Virginia, as Southern Virginia put up 5 runs in the top of the 9th to make it nail-biting time. But certainly nice to go out and get a victory and snap a 2-game losing streak after falling to Salisbury this week. So nice to get a win, and hopefully they can pick up a sweep here.
Yeah, well, let's take a quick look back at the week in review. And, of course, a tough trip to Salisbury on Saturday. They're ranked 5th in the country. York still with a winning record overall coming back home today. And also earlier in the week, what would have been a home game against Penn State Harrisburg rescheduled up there. So that was another interesting scheduling quirk with all of this weather. But, not a great past week for the baseball team, but hoping to rebound today with these 2 at home.
Yeah, a bunch of games this week. Play 2 today, 1 tomorrow, 1 Wednesday, 1 Thursday, 2 on Saturday, and back at it next Monday. So it's a pretty significant stretch of time, which is going to thin your pitching staff out a little bit. So I know today Patrick Pittman in the first game, normally a reliever, a guy who can pitch long, ended up pitching over 5 innings in Game 1, and you're going to have some versatility like that, some guys to be able to come in and maybe get stretched out a little bit more than what they normally would. The problem is you haven't played very much. So those guys might be, especially the bullpen guys or guys who are making spot starts, are probably a little rusty. They're probably not full go. And you're talking about 2 conference games today, 1 Wednesday, 2 Saturday. So, you're going to get to the opportunity to see some of the frontline guys during those games. And we haven't played a lot. We've only played this was game number 8. And it's March 23rd. That's almost, I'm not sure it's ever been quite this bad. And my guess is if it was earlier in the year, we wouldn't have played today. It's pretty cold. The field's still, you probably have a better chance of chewing up the field today than you would on a normal day. But you got to get the games in. You're at the point now where you just have to play. And that's what you got to do.
And those guys will be out there after the doubleheader today. The
working
players
on the field,
getting it ready for tomorrow.
Yep. Yeah. They play Hopkins at home, but the Salisbury games, was a situation. Salisbury's 10-0. They've been playing really well. I watched some of those games, and it was a situation where it never felt like we were in trouble. Salisbury just kind of chipped away, and kept building on their lead. And their pitching staff's really good. They were able to shut us down, and we hadn't seen game conditions in a week. So that's, it's not an excuse, but it's, when you're playing baseball's a game of every day, repetition every day. And when you want, the thing that's great for this week is we're really going to get in the flow of playing. I think that's going to help out a lot. But right now, struggling with the bats a little bit, and, it's going to be a situation where they need to kind of get back in the swing of things and get rolling again.
Now, how deep can the pitching staff go, or are we going to find out?
We're going to find out this week. The tough thing is, our ace, our 1 or 2, however you want to categorize, Elliot Mortimer's still out. with an injury. So, he was on his way back, had a little bit of a setback, and, his status for this year is a little bit undetermined at the moment. But looking at what we have, we're going to have guys pitch deep. I mean, you're going to need your starters to try and get into the sixth inning and try and save your bullpen a little bit. We have some talented kids in the bullpen, so I think we're going to be able to cover that. But you don't want to put yourself in a position where you're running those guys out. You want, ideally, if you can have the starter go two with one pitcher and one more with your closer, then I think you're in good shape. But very rarely do things go as planned. So that's just how it's going to be for this week, and you got to be ready to go.
Yeah, that is a lot of. I know a little league team could not do that because there are pitch limits.
Yeah,
so
no doubt.
There's enough guys on the roster though to
cover
that,
it's and there might be a situation where guys got to take a beating. Sometimes you got to leave guys out there, even if they're getting hit, to just because you need it for and really ultimately the most important games this week are the two today. Wednesday at Frostburg and Saturday against Mary Wash. Those are the games you really got to win. The Hopkins game on Tuesday, the Randolph-Macon game on Thursday. It's good to continue to play baseball, but those aren't do or die kind of situations. You want to really focus on your conference play, and that's really where the priority lies this week as you play this many games.
Well, right now, literally as we speak, 5-3 with a 2-2 conference record, with still the second game of that doubleheader today against Southern Virginia, which is in progress as we speak. So Scott, softball, jump to that here in this segment as well, and they really handled their business at Hood on Wednesday of last week. But that was their first game in almost 2 weeks, so here we go again, and they're really going to be racking up the games here in the coming days as well. But now off to an 8-4 start, and given that it was the first game in 13 days, I think any type of doubleheader sweep would have been just what the doctor ordered, and they did it in pretty impressive fashion.
No doubt. To come out and having not played in 13 days, the ability to come out and hit the ball like they did, especially in the Game 1 win, 5-1, and then picked up a 13-5 win in Game 2. Coach Pettis was really happy. She kind of felt at the end of the trip we weren't hitting well. We were not scoring runs like we had the capability of doing. So for us to come out and really play well offensively and really play well defensively, I think that's really good for us. And certainly the way that Courtney Martin continues to pitch, that's a huge plus for us. And really, we'll be tested this week. We have Gettysburg now at home. So if you looked at our schedule this morning, it said at Gettysburg. That has now been moved to Spartan Stadium. That will be tomorrow starting at 3 p.m. Then we'll be at home against Lycoming on Thursday. Salisbury at home in a huge conference doubleheader Saturday starting at 1. Wesley doubleheader at home starting at 12 on Sunday. So it's going to be a pretty busy week for the Spartans. This really starts a stretch of a lot of home games because they'll go to Penn State Harrisburg on April 1st and then return home with Frostburg State on the 3rd, Southern Virginia on the 4th, and Messiah on the 8th. So a lot of home games coming up for the Spartans as, the season, we're kind of hitting the midway point, even though we've only played 12 games so far.
Jumping back to baseball with that game that was moved to Penn State Harrisburg, did we get a home game back?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're playing. No, we'll actually play them at home on the 2nd.
Gotcha.
And then go to their place on the 3rd. Why we're not playing a doubleheader? Because we're off. We have break that day. So I don't know if that was an issue that Penn State Harrisburg didn't want to play too during the week, or if it was just us that we're going to play 1-1. I'm not quite sure why, but yeah, we'll have that game at home on next Thursday, and then we will go up there next Friday. So
yeah, the softball schedule reminded me of that. I wanted to ask the follow-up question.
No, that's okay. That's fine.
But yeah, so we're rolling, and we're gonna be forging ahead here with.
There might not be any old guy radio for a while if we keep. Yeah. If this weather stays that we can get everything in, then holy mackerel!
There'll be 10 games a week per sport to recap.
It might be.
So might need a second hour.
I might be a lot grayer by the time we're done too.
All right, well that's baseball and softball for the week. A lot to talk about with the lacrosse teams as well. And that's only scratching the surface here on this week's program. We've got some other things to get into, tennis from this past week, and also a new member of the coaching staff at York College. We're going to delve into that topic later on the program as well. Keep it here on York College Spartan Sports Weekly here on Sports Radio 1350 WOYK.
Hi, I am Cindy Scullion, one of the proud owners of Frank Storm & Company. We have been voted one of the best for 14 years by the York Dispatch readers for your personal and business tax needs. Call one of my partners or competent staff to set up your tax appointment for your 2014 taxes. We also can handle doing payrolls, sales tax, and compilations for your businesses. Give us a call at one of our 3 convenient locations, York, Dallastown, and Hanover.
Hey athletes, does the winter weather dampen your sports training? It doesn't have to. Take your game inside at Backyard University, York's spectacular indoor sports training facility, right at home in your backyard. Located inside Fairmont Gym at 201 South Charles Street in Red Lion, Backyard University is a beautiful, state-of-the-art indoor complex for all of your sport needs. Featuring a complete baseball and softball training complex with batting cages, pitching tunnels, and a turf field for the entire team, Backyard hosts camps, clinics, and competitive youth travel teams to play in the region's top tournaments. Join York Revolution greats Jason Espedo, Daryl Harang, and Corey Thurman for one-on-one training. And take your speed and agility to a whole new level with professional trainer David Brixius from Explosive Sports Performance. Play your game year-round at Backyard University, right at home in your backyard. Visit online at backyard-university.com.
Security in life isn't something you just wish for. You build it with a strong financial plan. Start with Northwestern Mutual. Together, we'll design a disciplined and balanced approach to financial security, because reaching your goals is something we both want to work toward. To learn more, contact me, Dan McGarry, at my office on the square in York. Look for the blue awnings. Who's helping you build your financial future? The Northwestern Mutual Life Insurance Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
The new Wyndham Garden York, formerly the Holiday Inn by the West Manchester Mall, has been fully renovated and remodeled. With 177 upgraded guest rooms, over 16,000 square feet of meeting space, 2 large ballrooms, indoor and outdoor pools, a much larger fitness center, a new business center, and free Wi-Fi throughout. The new Fender's Grill and Pub features American cuisine in a casual atmosphere, using local meats, produce, wine, and craft beers. The new Wyndham Garden, 2000 Louts Road in York. Stop in or call us at 846-9500.
We're Screamin' Green. How about you? The York College Spartans are on Sports Radio 1350 WOYK.
Back here on York College Spartan Sports Weekly, time to talk some lacrosse with the splendid Spartan himself, Scott Geis. We cannot contain you to 10 minutes on Wayne's show any longer.
It's actually more like 15, but that's okay.
Oh, was it? Okay.
And I have it all stored up because I wasn't on this week. So.
Oh, yeah.
Which is actually kind of great. I slept in a little bit.
They were live from the Player of the Game show, but you'll be back in full force next week. And
oh, yes.
A lot of pent-up energy here on this Monday.
I'm sure it will kind of be zany.
Well, we'll talk men's lacrosse first here on this segment. And actually, both coaches will join us here on this week's show. But the men, Scott, trying to find their way, I guess, here early this season. And they did pick up a big win on Saturday. So hopefully feeling a little bit better about themselves and then getting into conference play later on this week.
Yeah, it was a huge win over Eastern, and Coach Childs won't ever say this, but that meant a lot to him because that's his former school, and they knocked us off last year, and quite frankly, a game we never should have lost. But it felt pretty good, I'm sure, this week to come in and get a victory and really play well. We played hard. He'll talk about that in the interview, but I thought the exact same thing going away, that we played a little bit harder. And we have Tyler Hudson, and they don't. At the end of the day, that's really important. And Tyler's playing really well and doing a great job. And he's a great player. He's an even funny thing is he's an even better person. But he's certainly a great player, and it's been fun to watch him play. And for us, you try and appreciate the fact that he's not coming back next year. So you try and appreciate how good he is. Now, that being said, we get a lot of young talent. We're going to be pretty good moving forward. We don't, we lose some seniors that are key players for us, but I think we're going to have an opportunity to be really good. And this year, the way we have to play with so many injuries that we've had, we've been able to play some guys who probably normally wouldn't have played, get some experience. We're so very young in the midfield. And we're becoming young on defense. We've had some injuries on that side of the field that have really kind of thrust some guys into starting roles that probably they might have been part-time players. They certainly weren't going to be starters, but they've responded and played pretty well. So that's a continual work in progress. And, the injuries, I'm not sure I've ever seen a year that where the injuries have played such a large role in our success and failure. And this year certainly has been one of those cases. But great game on Saturday. Didn't play, coming off that game on Wednesday when you just kind of got beat up. Credit Elizabethtown. They're very good defensively. They kind of held the score down and did a good job against us and took advantage of their opportunities. But we need to come out and play well on Saturday, which we did, and certainly getting a win over a good team like Eastern is pretty important.
Well, Tyler Hudson, 4 goals and an assist, just an afternoon's work for him.
Yes, he's actually – I panicked a little bit after the game. He's getting close to 250 points, which, in lacrosse you kind of mark the milestones, 150, 200, 250. He's actually at 240, so we got a little bit of time. Maybe that could happen this week. Another pair of 5-point outputs would be nice and give us the opportunity to really throw another accolade on his plate, because he's just been a fantastic player. He's already our all-time leading scorer, all-time leading goal scorer. He's just been absolutely fantastic for 4 years.
For one who is not a lacrosse aficionado, how rare is a 4-goal game from one player?
Not terribly rare. Yeah. For him, that's probably, I think his career average, he's around probably 3.5 goals a game.
Okay.
So, it's a little bit above average, but, he's had games where he's had 6 or 7. He's a fantastic player. Yeah. And the thing about Tyler is he works hard. He is out there. I'll never forget, it was probably I think it was after his freshman year. He's a conference rookie of the year. It's kind of snowing out. It's the day before Thanksgiving break starts, and he's got a bucket of balls and a net, and he is out shooting, like in the snow by himself. And I just remember thinking to myself, if your best player does that and puts that kind of work in, that's a great thing for your team to have that kind of work ethic and determination to be great. He's continued to add things each year. This year, he's getting more assists because of the focus on him. He's able to distribute. So he's just he's one of those kids that, he's kind of I don't want to say once in a lifetime player, because that's not probably true, but he's a once in every 10-year kind of player. And, certainly it's been a lot of fun to watch him play.
Boy, if he's adding stuff to his game each year, it's a shame we don't have him for another few to see what would be next.
He'd be fantastic. And you know what? He's the kind of kid that you like being around. He's got a great personality. He doesn't take himself too seriously, and just a tremendously hard worker, and somebody who you're proud to say is playing for you. And, like I said, the difference in the game on Saturday is we had Tyler Hudson and they didn't. So that's, pretty much what you can say about the win on Saturday.
Well, a big 10-8 win indeed. Again, they will host Marymount on Wednesday at 4 in the conference opener. Coming off the Saturday win, Scott, you had a chance to catch up with Coach Childs this morning.
We are joined this morning by York College head men's lacrosse coach Brandon Childs. Coach, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.
Kind of a mixed bag last week. Had a rough game at Elizabethtown on Wednesday, but bounced back with a really solid effort against Eastern on Saturday and get the 10-8 win, and they had been playing pretty well. Talk a little bit about this week and how you saw it happening.
Well, I think this week was a snapshot of what it's like coaching a young team. Just kind of some inconsistencies and like resiliency a little bit. We definitely did not play well Wednesday. Not to take anything away from Elizabethtown, I thought they're really well coached and they're holding teams to, they won again this weekend 5-4, so they're 7-2 now, and they're holding teams to, under 6 goals a game. So they're doing a lot of great things, but we definitely helped them out with some turnovers and sloppy play and some pretty bad communication on the defensive end. And but what it did was it kind of like humbled us back to first as a staff, and then trickles down in the team until putting not necessarily our best players on the field, but our best people on the field. and our best people played pretty well on Saturday.
You come back, it's obviously you play well Saturday. You get 2 big goals at the end of the game by Tyler Hudson. How important is it for your best players to step up in big situations like that?
Yeah, we talked a lot about that on Thursday at practice. Not as a group, but individually, we kind of pulled some of those guys together. And with a young team, that's the thing that you need the most, is for your best players, oldest players, leaders to really elevate their game. And it takes some of the pressure off of the younger guys that you're playing. And Wednesday, we didn't have our best effort from a lot of those guys that you would consider, I guess, our best players. And Saturday, that changed. Tyler was great. Andrew Gamble was better than he had been. We did some position changes with the defense and moved Josh Kluver to the middle of the field, and I thought he was great there. And Dale Kowach down to guard their attackman, and Dale was great. So we definitely got better efforts from our best players on Saturday. So that just helps when you're playing some younger kids. It takes some of the load off of them when they know who they can give the ball to that guy in crunch time.
You guys are still really banged up, dealing with a lot of injuries. Do you think this is going to pay dividends down the line because you've had to play more people than you thought you would have originally? You've had a lot of guys that have missed significant time. When they come back, does that make us a better team?
Yeah, I guess it depends on how you define down the line. Down the line, like a year from now, it'll be huge. I just keep thinking all these freshmen that we're playing next year, you just automatically make a huge jump from your freshman year to your sophomore year, even if you didn't see game time. But if you played in every meaningful minute as a freshman, when you come back as a sophomore, you're almost a junior in terms of game experience, and it's not typical that you play this many freshmen. And so down the road, 16, 17, it will definitely pay big dividends. Down the road this year, if we get guys back, and that's a big if still, we're definitely going to be deeper than we were in May last spring, which with the weather getting warmer and teams being able to game plan for individuals to be a deep team and run multiple midfielders will definitely play big dividends. But a lot of that depends on these timeline of these injuries, and we're at the point of the season where I just don't even, without sounding too unsympathetic, I almost don't even care anymore. I'm just trying to coach the players that are out there at practice and not worry so much about the ones that can't go right now.
How challenging have the injuries made this year? Obviously, it's been tough. You don't have the guys you expected to be out there. Has it been tougher for you as a coach, or is it something it's part of the game and you have to adjust?
There's no doubt it's tough. I think one of the things and we really try to focus in on here is continuity amongst lines, and I think so much of team sports is knowing how to play alongside someone. So obviously, the more you do it, the better you'll be at it. And we do a lot of focusing on that and trying to get guys to run together. And so even if it's one injury, it throws off that continuity. We've had a lot more than one, and so it just creates this domino effect where you're trying to plug some holes. And obviously you want offensively 6 guys working together as well as possible, and defensively 7 guys working together as well as possible. And when that gets disrupted, the way that we play, our style of play, and the way that we coach, it does take its toll. And so that part of it's been hard. On the flip side, it's been fun because it's been a lot of hard work trying to figure out who we're going to put where and then how we're going to play. We've had to adapt and change, and we've done a lot of changes, throughout the course of this year. And I got to imagine if you were going to game plan for us coming up, A, you wouldn't know who's going to go out there and play, and then B, you wouldn't know what we're going to run because we're still a work in progress. So I kind of like the unpredictability of it, which has been fun.
All right, Coach, thanks for joining us. Good luck this week. You host Marymount on Wednesday, and then back at it.
All right, thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
All right, Scott, well put with Coach Childs.
He's always a good interview. Always enjoyed talking to Coach Childs. We talked a little bit before the interview about, I felt like how we were playing and kind of what he saw and what we were doing. So, we thank him as always, as all of our coaches, for joining us and, getting an opportunity to kind of get the inside look of what's going on with our team.
All right. Well, men's lacrosse team hosting Marymount Wednesday at 4. Once again, conference opener. That is what is next for them. We'll take a break here on York College Spartans Sports Weekly. We'll hear from Coach Mustin on the women's side. Coming up, we'll talk some women's lacrosse and a lot more in our final segment. A lot to get to, so stay with us here on York College Spartans Sports Weekly, right here on Sports Radio 1350 WOYK.
For winter now and save big on your heating oil or propane costs. Call today to schedule your first fill, and don't forget to ask our energy advisors about the right money-saving plan or budget to fit your lifestyle. Lock in your rate and protect your price all winter. Our price-protected customers save an average of $325 per year. Visit ShipleyEnergy.com or call 855-4SHIPLEY to schedule your next heating oil or propane delivery. Shipley Energy, energy for life.
At OSS Health, our highly trained physicians are on the field, in the training room, at home games, or away. From preseason physicals to postseason surgery, we're on the sidelines so athletes don't have to be, getting you back in the game. When it comes to sports medicine, we're the ones you've trusted for 30 years. OSS Health Sports Medicine, experience you can trust. Visit us online at osshealth.com.
At Northwestern Mutual, we take a disciplined and balanced approach to financial planning. Together, we'll help build your financial future on time-tested principles, not market trends, so you can take advantage of life's opportunities. To learn more, contact me, Dan McGarry, at my office on a square in York. Look for the blue awnings. Who's helping you build your financial future? The Northwestern Mutual Life Insurance Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
The new Wyndham Garden York, formerly the Holiday Inn by the West Manchester Mall, has been fully renovated and remodeled. With 177 upgraded guest rooms, over 16,000 square feet of meeting space, 2 large ballrooms, indoor and outdoor pools, a much larger fitness center, a new business center, and free Wi-Fi throughout. The new Fender's Grill and Pub features American cuisine in a casual atmosphere using local meats, produce, wine, and craft beers. The new Wyndham Garden, 2000 Louts Road in York. Stop in or call us at 846-9500.
Believe it or not, spring is coming, and we've got the bases covered like Etch with dirt during a tantrum. Join Darryl Henry and Atlantic League Manager of the Year Mark Mason for Revs Hot Stove Weekly, every Friday at 4. Breaking news each week with the latest player signings exclusively here first. Plus fan interaction online, interviews with players, and we'll highlight really good calls from umpires. Maybe we should have stopped with interviews with players. Revs Hot Stove Weekly, Fridays at 4 on Sports Radio 1350 WOYK. Your home for the Spartans. Sports Radio 1350 WOYK.
Old Guy Radio, with the guy whose sunglasses are almost as old as him.
Wow.
No, not quite.
That hurts.
Not quite. No, that should make you feel young. Actually, we don't have time for Old Guy Radio again this week.
You just tease the audience, and then just drop them down.
Week after week. Just like dangling that carrot.
Hey, it keeps them coming back.
Gonna talk women's lacrosse instead.
There we go.
And a great week. Ugh. Oh, man, what an outstanding week. To recap it, a win over number 18 Dickinson on Wednesday, 16-7. Jamie Verman had a rather large day, didn't she?
Big day.
3 goals, 6 assists, which tied a school record, career-high 9 points. Then Saturday, a 17-1 win at Wesley, 17-1. And Scott, I looked a little closer to see what Wesley's record was. They were 4-3 coming into that game, so it's not like they were looking for their first win or anything.
Well, I think the key, if you look at the week after coming off the Salisbury loss, in which Jamie Verman didn't play against Salisbury, Megan Strauch knocked out early. There are a couple other injuries that kind of hampered York a little bit, and that's not taking anything away from Salisbury. They're very good and ranked a little bit ahead of us. But to come out and to do what they did to Dickinson was as impressive as I've seen us be in probably a couple years. The crispness of the passing, the offense was very fluid, and really the attacking style that has been Coach Mustin's style for a long time really showed itself to be evident, and really took it to Dickinson, played great, and really controlled the game from start to finish. So it was great to see. It was very encouraging to see, especially coming off the Salisbury loss, which was, tough to swallow. We didn't play very well. Not that we played poorly, we played hard, just not well enough to beat them. And then to do what they did against Wesley, just to leave no doubt, it was 12-0 at the half. Shots, they held Wesley without a shot in the first half, and it was just a really impressive performance. And really, this team's clicking all cylinders right now, and they're going to have to because they play Gettysburg on Tuesday, which Gettysburg, I believe, is ranked 3rd or 4th in the country. They're very good. So it'll be a great test at home, the opportunity. And really, this stretch, Gettysburg at home, then Marymount at home on Saturday, then they have Catholic next Wednesday, which will also be a good test. I believe Catholic's ranked probably around 11th or 12th in the country. So the beat goes on. I mean, that's just what we do. Coach Mustin plays really, really tough teams, and that's how she rolls. And, the one thing I think she tells recruits, or I know she tells recruits when they're getting recruited at York is you're going to play a lot of really good teams. And that's, I think, a hallmark of her program. You play good teams, you compete against good teams, and you're going to have an unbelievable lacrosse experience at York. And I think that's proving to be true yet again. And this team's really starting to click and play well. A little bit healthier this week, and obviously having Jamie Verman, who has also been named the Capital Athletic Conference Women's Lacrosse Offensive Player of the Week. She really, really played well and has continued to play well for York. She actually transferred from her sinus and led her sinus last year. She had 60 points at her sinus as a freshman in the Centennial Conference. So wow. She's kind of getting her feet underneath her here, really starting to play well. She's a strong physical presence who also has the ability to distribute. She did a great job of passing the ball against Dickinson and making plays, and that certainly was pretty impressive for York.
Now 6-2, the Spartans are 16th in the country?
Just moved up to 15th.
Up to 15th. They outscore their opponents last week 33-8, with probably the Dickinson win being, not probably, that is the most impressive, but then just absolutely throttling Wesley on Saturday. No letdown. You can play a big game like that.
And I think that's that's what good teams do. You beat the teams that you should beat, and they certainly did that this week. I think that's an important thing to take forward, that you are beating the teams that you should pound, and they certainly did that to Wesley.
Well, Derek Berenshausen is our correspondent this week.
Yes.
In studio, but he had a chance to catch up with Jen Mustin this morning.
Joining me now is head coach of the women's lacrosse team, Coach Jen Mustin. Coach, thanks for sitting down with us.
Sure, no problem.
Another 2-0 week. Picked up a win during the week against Dickinson, the number 18 team in the country, and then picked up your first CAC win and a blowout victory over Wesley. Let's go back to the Dickinson game. A pretty good team you faced, and I thought offensively things were clicking pretty well. Had our highest shot percentage of the year, had double-digit assists. It just seemed like things were clicking offensively for you.
Yeah, we've really been focusing on that. We haven't been terribly happy with our shot percentage each game that we've played this year, and we've really been talking about that and focusing on it in practice and really just communicating with the players and finding out, maybe some of the difficulties that they were having or why they were, just catching and shooting without taking a second to really see the goalie or throw a fake in, and we just have been focusing on that a lot. So we were due for a game where that all kind of came together, and I think that was the game. And we were happy because obviously Dickinson is a competitive team, and they were somebody that we definitely were not looking past. We needed to make sure we did our job that day, and I think we did. So that was pretty good.
Jamie Verman had a big game for you. She had a career high 9 points, coming over from her sinus last year. Seems like she's really starting to fit into this offense and starting to feel more comfortable and have a, she's been breaking out the last few games. Talk about her performance.
Yeah, she had an excellent game against Dickinson breakout. She was coming off of just being injured and missing a game, so I think she was just really raring to go by the time she got back. So she has a nose for the goal. She's aggressive. She's not going to shy away from any physicality or any pressure, and I think that's really important as a crease attacker, is that you need to have that mental attitude, and you're not going to let somebody push you around. You're going to kind of take it, I guess, and do your thing, and I think she's really coming into her own and just providing us more solid depth on attack, and we really want our offense to be spread out and scoring, and I think we're doing a pretty good job of that this year, and she just adds another element with somebody who is able to give us assists and give us goals and really help in both areas. So, yeah, we're really happy with how she's performing.
And then on Saturday, you went down to Wesley, picked up a huge win there. It was kind of a blowout pretty much before things even got started. We outshot them 24-0 in the first half, and it was 12-0 at halftime. Talk about that game, what you have to do as a coach to kind of keep your players sharp, keep them focused when things are getting out of hand like that.
Yeah, something we talk about is just making sure that we come out ready to go the same way for every game. And, it doesn't matter who we're playing that day. It's York lacrosse. That's what we're playing. We're playing York lacrosse. We're preparing the same way. We're warming up the same way. We are treating every game the same. And, I think Saturday was a challenge in that we had to do that. We had to say that we were going to come out the same way as we always do. And, I think we did a pretty good job of that, and we were able to get some players that maybe don't play a lot or get a ton of minutes. They were able to get some more time in there and some more game experience, and I think that's really important just as we hit the middle of our season here now. So, I think it was a good day for us to kind of, again, focus on the things that we've been talking about, making sure we're finishing our shots, and, it's no different than any other time, so.
Another big game tomorrow, another top 20 team, a top 5 team in Gettysburg coming in here. Just talk about what your thoughts are, your preparation for that game.
We're really excited. We have been talking for a while now about just how we're going to take our game to the next level and, beat some of the teams that we have yet to beat in our history yet. And, Gettysburg being one of them. And it's not going to be easy. And we like the challenge. That's why we schedule the way that we do. And, it's just a matter of time before these girls figure out that we have what it takes, and they need to bring it on game days like when we play Gettysburg and some of the other top ranked teams. And so we've just been kind of talking about the mental part of it and making sure that we back up what we say and we don't just talk about what we're going to do and not go out there and do it. We have to go out there and make sure we back ourselves up. So we're really excited about the opportunity to play them tomorrow, and it's going to be a good game and, high-level Division III lacrosse, and that's something that we want. We're happy to be competing at that point. So,
Coach, as always, thank you for joining us. We look forward to catching up with you later on.
Great. Thanks very much.
All right. Thank you, Derek. Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Scott. Thanks be to everyone.
Sure. No, it was a great interview, Derek. Always here, if not in physical person and spirit, as he gets ready to start game 2. So, it was a good job. Derek does I'm very fortunate. I have a fantastic assistant who does an amazing job and really is as good as it gets, and hoping to be able to hang on to him for a little bit longer before he goes on, really starts his own shop. He'll do a great job. He's really, really good.
Especially with graphics and stuff.
Oh, and stuff. Yes, lots of and stuff.
All right. Well, looking forward to that women's lacrosse game tomorrow for sure. And Scott, want to touch on women's tennis here. And a little bit of a tough start to their season. They lost a close one to St. Mary's on Saturday, 5-4. So now 3-5 is where they check in. St. Mary's looks like they have a pretty good team. They're now 6-2. But I did want to single out and highlight a familiar name to local sports fans and also to our basketball fans, Katie Wagner, who made the transition from the basketball court straight to the tennis court. 5-0 now to start off her season on the singles side of things.
She's pretty good.
Yeah, really.
Obviously the record is pretty outstanding, but the way she's beating people like a drum. I mean, they're just leaving no doubt and playing really well. She uses the quickness that she has. Everybody's seen her on the basketball floor, knows how quick she is, and she uses that on the tennis court. Hits the ball hard, runs it down. Is really a fantastic tennis player. And very rarely do you get the two-sport athlete in basketball and something else. But she's been able to do that. She had a great fall. She took the spring trip off just to let that hamstring heal a little bit. If you guys remember at the end of basketball season, she was dealing with a little bit of a nagging hamstring injury. But took that time off, recovered, and really looks good so far. And I think she can be competitive with anybody in the conference, including the Christopher Newport, Salisbury's, and Mary Washingtons of the world. She'll continue to really be one of the top players in the conference.
Yeah, that's exciting stuff to have her in both sports going forward, just as a freshman and what she's already done. And Scott, to wrap up this week, we have a few minutes left, and this is certainly deserved of a few minutes. Probably my fault with the 7-minute intro that we didn't get to it last week, but we have a new hire to the coaching staff at York College, and going back to our roots and to one of our all-time greats on the men's soccer team, Evan Sheffy is the new men's soccer coach, and I know you are thrilled and very excited with that hire. I mean, I remember watching him play, and you've got one of the all-time greats, which has been a recipe for success in some of our other sports.
No question about it. You know, you look at his, the thing I love about Evan, he was a fantastic player. He's even a better person. I mean, he is going to be a great leader of men. If you look at how he conducts himself and how he carries himself, he is a guy who's going to lead the program in a great direction. You know, guys are going to be accountable. He's going to really kind of, in a way, he's going to be a little different than Coach Ludwig. There's a little bit of a different style of coaching. I think philosophically there'll be some differences. Obviously, Coach Ludwig, we were unbelievably successful, and I think that's going to continue with Evan. Evan was a 3-time All-Conference player, was an All-American, was a member of 3 conference championships, went to the NCAA 4 times. Just an unbelievable guy. He's going to recruit great kids, great players. I'm really excited. I think he is going to be able to continue the tradition that Coach Ludwig established in terms of the winning and the on-field success. And I think you're just going to see a lot of great things coming from our soccer program. And I don't think we could have done better. I don't know that there's a coach in the country who wanted to be the York College coach as badly as Evan Sheffy did. And I think that is a testament to his experience at York College, and knows what it can be and knows how great it can be. And I think that there's going to be a lot of excitement surrounding our soccer program. We were down a little bit last year, but I guess down in compared to what it's been for the last 9 years prior to that is, we weren't really down. We were over 500. We had we were battling towards the end of the year and really playing well. So I think it's just a carryover of what we've been doing the last 12 years is what Sheffy will bring, and he's going to do a fantastic job. In fact, I already told him he has to come in and sit down with us one day, and have the opportunity to kind of talk to him, and he'll be great to have here. He's very engaging, will be great as a recruiter, and he's been at Virginia Wesleyan the last couple of years, and they've been very good, and that will not change as he becomes the head coach at York College.
And, I mean, following the path, it reminds me a lot of bringing Dwayne Bastress on board as far as one of your all-time greats, not that far removed from being a student-athlete himself, and I think the impact could be very similar.
Well, I think the importance is they want to be here. That's a thing. He wants to be here. He had the opportunity to take some other jobs and turned it down, and really wanted to be a York College Spartan and be the head coach of this program, and he is going to fit in our staff really well. He is as I said, he's a great guy. He's a guy who, if your son grows up to be like Evan Sheffy, you've done a pretty good job as a parent. So, I think that's probably some of the highest praise I can give somebody. I know as a parent, you see guys like Evan or Dwayne or people that carry themselves with such high regard, with such poise and maturity, and just you want your son to be like that, and Evan would certainly be one of those guys, and he's going to do a fantastic job for us.
Yeah, that was exciting news to see for sure. So pretty good week, I would say, and looking forward to what's ahead. And obviously, Scott, an absolute ton of games, maybe 2 tons of games to talk about at this time next week.
It's going to be a busy week. I'm going to sleep.
Hang in there.
I'm going to sleep good on Sunday night and get up Monday morning ready to do it again. So yeah, it's going to be busy, but you know what? That's that's what happens in the springtime, especially with the weather we've had the last couple of weeks. And hey, as long as we're done with the snow and the cold temperatures, I'm fine with it. I don't mind being busy if that means spring is here and summer's right around the corner.
You had your snow days.
Oh, I don't need. I'm done. I don't need them. I don't need the snow days. The waking up to the white stuff. I'm over it.
Yeah.
I'm really over it. I'm ready to. At heart, I'm a beach guy. I love the beach. you can't go to the beach when it's snowing outside. So I'm ready to go.
Well, we're going to make up for it now. Well, tune us in every Monday at 4. We'll be back next week. And don't forget, you can check out our archives online as well, WOYK1350.com and YCPSpartans.com. Scott, enjoy Game 2 of the baseball doubleheader. We'll see you next week.
All right.
That was
Sounds
your
good.
cue.
That was my cue. I'm sorry. I was just checking a sneak peek to see if the game started yet. So
Can't blame me there.
They're underway and ready to go. So, another week in the books.
Another week. Well, for Ray Jensen here with us, for Scott Geist, Daryl Henry saying so long. Talk to you next Monday for more York College Spartan Sports Weekly here on Sports Radio 1350 WOYK.